2 weeks ago, in glorious sunshine, Daniel Ricardo took McLaren's first Grand Prix victory in near on 1 decade. Here this morning, very different conditions. It is not quite as warm, but it's extremely wet, in complete contrast to the Italian Grand Prix held here 2 weeks ago. Welcome to the north of Italy. Welcome to the Temple of Speed. Welcome to a very, very wet Monza here this morning. This is the penultimate round of the Euroformula Open Championship Race 2 for 2021. We had Race 1 yesterday on a dry circuit with Cameron Dass taking his 6th victory of 2021 to extend his championship lead. And here this morning, we've just qualified, incidentally, for the GT Open International GT3 Championship. The heavens opened halfway through the session just a few moments ago. And Richard de Geris, you ride on board with the French driver. Well, there's a little bit of glimmer of hope in the background because you can see the clouds at certain parts of the Monza circuit trying to clear, but for the moment the rain is falling. We will, of course, start behind the safety car. Ian Silvestrin joining you in commentary, joined once again by Ida Wood. A dry track yesterday, a fantastic race. Casper Stevenson finished grid 6, and therefore the Londoner will start on pole position for race 2 here this morning.
Yep, and we're currently looking at Louis Foster at the moment. Because of the reverse grid, he finished last yesterday, but he didn't even finish. He got knocked out the first corner, and that means he's going to be starting 8 positions behind his key title rival, Cameron Dass, for this race. So that's going to be pretty difficult. Richard de Geris going through the pit lane now, so it looks like they're just testing out the conditions before they will line up on the grid behind the safety car, and then that's going to lead them away quite possibly for at least 2 laps, because we know it's going to be doing the first lap, showing the field where to go.
Look at the visibility, or the lack of visibility, as the Frenchman, who has been super quick since joining us in the Euroformula Open Championship, coming over from the FIA Formula 3 Series. Didn't have the best run in the Red Bull Ring 2 weeks ago, but he has been fast yesterday, involved in an incident in the first corner and was subsequently given a 10-second penalty. Richard de Geris will start out a grid 11. We will start behind the safety car. This is great to see. This is Francesco Simonazi in car 84, BVM Racing, back with us in the Euroformula Open Championship. Francesco Simonazi on debut in Euroformula Open. He's technically his second Formula 3 race after basically shaking down the car in the Top 10 Italian Series at Imola around about 1 month ago. They missed qualifying. They had an engine failure. They had a piston seize in the engine, but he drove brilliantly despite a lack of running to finish in P9 on debut in Euroformula. And he will start on the 5th row of the grid alongside the Lone Texan Enzo Scianti. There is the grid. Yes, very different conditions to 2 weeks ago at the Italian Grand Prix. For the first time in ages, we've got public here welcomed into the grandstand. Fortunately, it is a covered grandstand. The crowd was queuing at 7:30 this morning as Francesco Simonazi in car 84 for BVM Racing makes his way to the grid. The crowd was queuing, but they've been greeted by atrocious conditions here. It is, I won't say reasonably warm, but it's around about 20 degrees Celsius. It's not freezing cold, but the rain has just set in for the day, it would seem. Obviously, we're on the Michelin wet tyres. Obviously, we will start behind the safety car in a few moments. Race 2, the penultimate round of the 2021 Euroformula Open Championship.
Yeah, it's super humid right now. It feels a bit like Singapore. Although obviously we're in Italy. And Italy will be appearing not once, but twice on the calendar next year. A few days ago, we got the provisional 2022 calendar being released, so we're going to start the season quite likely at Algarve, as we did in 2020. That was a circuit that was recently hosted Formula One's Portuguese Grand Prix. We're going to be heading there at the very start of May. Then we got Paul Ricard, Spa-Francorchamps, Hungaroring, classics of the Euroformula calendar. Mugello is potentially going to be hosting in July, although there's consideration it could be another Italian venue. The Red Bull Ring, where we had atrocious conditions just 2 weeks ago. Monza, which is where we are now, and then Barcelona. And of course, a lot of fans will be wanting to know, will the Pau Grand Prix be coming back? We'd absolutely love it to, but it all depends really on what's happening in France, politically, geographically, all those kinds of factors. It's really outside of racing's control when those kinds of events can occur.
Not to mention the weather.
Yeah, not to mention the weather.
When Billy won the race a couple of years ago, yeah, Well, the conditions weren't quite as bad. As we take a look at the grid here this morning, Casper Stevenson, who is one of 7 race winners in the 2021 Euroformula Open Championship. The 2-car attack from Van Amersfoort Racing Team starts from pole position. Philip Kamini, who was in superb form yesterday, the best, the fastest, the most aggressive we've seen. The Polish driver drive will start on the outside of the front row of the grid. Car 88 for Philippe. Nazim Adsman, another race winner in 2021, the Malaysian, after winning at the Red Bull Ring in Austria, starts out of grid 3. And alongside him from Turkey, another race winner. This is Shambolic Bashi, who won on debut at the Hungaroring in Budapest. On debut in the Euroformula Open Championship. We go back to the Australian Christian Mansell, who took the race lead yesterday away from the championship leader Cameron Dass. Christian from Newcastle, north of Sydney in a still sadly locked down Australia, starts out of grid 5. Cameron Dass, the championship leader, his 6th victory yesterday, puts him at grid 6 this morning. The top 6 reversed. He accelerates, or he extends his lead in the championship, starts out at grid 6.
And I was going to say, looking back to the Pau Grand Prix at the time, he was the only one who did that on slick tyres in the wet, so he knows how to drive in these conditions. Fellow American Brad Benavides in 7th place with Ricardo. Nico Pino. Now, this is interesting. Overnight, DriveX had to change the gearbox for the 2nd time this weekend. I think it dumped a load of oil on Friday, and then they were at the circuit till 11:30 last night working on it to get it fixed. So great shame that had to be done, but they got it. They managed to do it.
Nicholas Pino, who finished 8th yesterday. Francesco Simonazi, BVM Racing back in Euroformula Open, this legendary team, which have had no less than 5 drivers graduate to Formula 1. Enzo Scianti out of grid 10. The highlights of race 1 yesterday here at Monza. Off the start, Cameron Dass and Louis Foster 1-2, the championship contenders. Behind, though, all hell would break loose down into turn 1. Richard de Geris, Enzo Trulli, Christian Mansell made contact, and Richard de Geris into the back of Louis Foster. Foster was out. Richard de Geris would incur damage and a 10-second penalty. Foster beached on the curbs. That brought out the safety car. Cameron Dass at the restart went wheel to wheel with the Australian Christian Mansell, who locked up down into the 2nd chicane and would take the lead of the race. Cameron Dass on the gas. The American fought back and took P1 back from young Mansell here at Monza. And from there, Cameron Dass would drive away to take his 6th victory of 2021. Mansell home in 2nd place. This is the championship. Cameron Dass, 299 points, 27 ahead of his closest rival, Louis Foster, who did not score anything yesterday. Crawford, Atzman, and Casper Stevenson in position 5, who starts on pole position. Race 2, the penultimate round of the 2021 Euroformula Open Championship. Let's look at the grid. It's the Londoner Casper Stevenson for Van Amersfoort Racing on pole position alongside Philippe Kaminiaz. Nazim Adsman is alongside Shambolic Bashi. He was on the podium in 3rd place yesterday. Christian Mansell out of 5 alongside the championship leader, yesterday's race winner Cameron Dass, fellow American Brad Benavides, and the South American on debut in Euroformula for Team DriveX, Nicholas Pino, also on debut in Euroformula. It is Francesco Simonazi and the lone Texan, Enzo Scianti. Richard de Geris, watch the Frenchman out of grid 11 alongside Josh Mason. Enzo Trulli from the back of the grid and Louis Foster out of 14. Well, he saved a new set, trying to be positive, of slick Michelin tyres, but they have 0 value here this morning. We have actually
got the race underway.
Officially, yes.
Yeah, so it's doing at least 1 lap behind the safety car. I expect they're going to make it 2 because we've just had a lot of thunder, seen a bit of lightning, and the rain's coming down harder than it was approximately 5 minutes ago. So at least the people on the grid kept a little bit dry compared to what the conditions are now. But, I mean, this is reminiscent of Nürburgring 07, Malaysia 09, Spa-Francorchamps 2021, but hopefully we'll be going the full distance. We've got 17 laps to compete here. Usually when we do have the safety car in Euroformula races, we add an additional lap for each lap we spend behind the safety car, and the cars are fueled for those scenarios. But with the rain as it is now, I don't think they're going to need to stretch the race any further because it's going to take so long to complete. And you can see that's actually leaves that have been blown and kind of pushed off the trees in this national park of Monza. by the rain, and it's falling onto the track, and their cars are having to wipe them up. And as soon as that gets on the tyres, you lose basically the tread of the tyre because you've got a smooth surface of the leaf, being the contact area of the track. So that's going to be a very treacherous straight once racing does get underway properly. The safety car is going incredibly slowly. You can see how much water it's displacing, so it's going to be particularly hard for anyone to, overtake in these scenarios. But hopefully everyone drives safely, and we've seen in Euroformula before, this car performs very well in the wet. It's because it's nimble, because it's light, the drivers can react very quickly to any snaps of oversteer or anything like that. And also, they've got a lot of onboards to watch. Pau Grand Prix 2019, I think we had a bit in Red Bull Ring last year, so lots and lots of experience. And of course in Japan, almost every race the Dallara 320 has over there is in soaking wet conditions. So there's lots of reference points they do have.
And Monza being one of the faster circuits with, let's be thankful that we're not at, say, the Hungaroring or Spa, where there's just corner after corner, the long straights mean the drivers can try and find some rhythm. As you look at Brad Benavides in car 71 out of grid 7, almost in pole position after finishing, well, he was in 5th and 6th for most of the race yesterday. He was actually in 3rd earlier on. The top 6 reversed for the grid here this morning. The safety car leads them across the line. We have officially got a race start. For the moment, it is still a 17-lap race. Atrocious conditions. You know what happened at the Belgium Formula 1 Grand Prix around about 1 month ago. You know what happened. In fact, you know what did not happen at Sochi. Yesterday, the final rounds, or the final round of the FIA Formula 3 Championship and one of the last rounds of the FIA Formula 2 Championship, which were washed away.
And former Euroformula driver Jack Doohan was going for the title. He missed out against Dennis Hauger, and pretty much 20 minutes ago was actually had team orders with Trident, because Trident was looking to win the team's title, and he was told to let his teammate Clement Novalak through, and there's a lot of kind of angst there. But I do believe that title went to their opponents.
Yes, a big congratulations to former Euroformula Open driver Dennis Hauger, who has won the FIA Formula 3 Championship in the last 24 hours down in the south of Russia in Sochi.
And we've got Carlos Sainz, obviously, at the front of the field for the Russian Grand Prix itself as well. He's another former Euroformula driver. At the Long Beach Grand Prix this weekend, the IndyCar finale, we've got none other than Alex Palou going for the title there. He is, of course, one of Euroformula's most famous ex-drivers in Formula 2. We've got a few there as well. Unfortunately, Felipe Drugovich, I believe, has been ruled out of racing in today's feature race because of an incident he had yesterday. Yuki Tsunoda in Formula 1. He obviously raced here 2 years ago in this, well, not in this car, but in the previous spec version, and in slightly similar conditions, I think, in one of the sessions there. So, yeah, a lot of Euroformula drivers do end up in Formula 1 in the professional ranks, DTM as well.
Not forgetting Colton Herta, who took 4 wins in 2016, has been a revelation over on the other side of the Atlantic Ocean. There are the leaves, which it doesn't sound like a big deal, but here in autumn, it is a beautiful park to the north of Milan, and the leaves just fall. There are times when you cannot see the grass. You drive into the circuit here, and it's just covered with the autumnal leaves. So the second lap behind the safety car, Casper Stevenson to lead away. We are waiting for word from race control regarding the safety car, if we go green next time round or not. From our position, we can still see the yellow flag being displayed across the start-finish line. Richard de Geris, we're expecting a good race. We're hoping for a good race for the French driver from the Reunion Islands in the middle of the Indian Ocean. Tropical island, the beautiful Reunion Islands. His hometown, I won't say country, it is a department of France. He is a French driver, twice runner-up in the French Formula 4 Championship, 2017 and 2018. The second time was to Théo Pourchaire, who is apparently a candidate for the remaining seat in Formula 1 in 2022. Across the line one more time goes the safety car. Still waiting for word from race control. Stevenson, Kamini, Nazim Artsman, Cembolok Bashi, Christian Mansell out of 5. Atrocious conditions here at Monza. Race 2, the penultimate round, the 7th round of 8. The 2021 Euroformula Open Championship down through the chicane, giving these drivers a chance to get a feel for the conditions. There's Christian Mansell going through in 52. There's Brad Benavides, 71. Nicholas Pino, Simonazi in car 84. Great to see BVM Racing back with us. The team of Antonio Bertoni, Bruno Vanini, Giuseppe Mazzotti. They have taken no less than 5 drivers to Formula One. Domenico Schiattarella, Gaston Mazzacani, Mark Genet, Nicholas Latifi, and of course Antonio. That was Giovinazzi. They've all graduated to Formula One for BVM Racing, who have been in competition since 1993, the Italian F3 Championship, the former Italian F3 Championship, the Greek Formula 3 Championship, and of course they were with us in Euroformula up until 2017. Joey Mawson taking the wheel for the Italian team for the final time a few seasons ago. They are back with Francesco Simonazi in car 84. The third lap behind the safety car. Waiting for word from race control if we do go green next time. Atrocious conditions here at Monza for the second race of 3 here this weekend.
Yeah, and there's 2 more elements added. The sun's actually coming out a little bit because the pit straight's lit up, but we have an additional point for fastest lap and 2 additional points for the most positions gained by a driver within the race. Now, the longer we stay behind the safety car, the longer essentially you're not going to be making any positions. And on previous occasions, precedent was if 2 people set the same amount of positions gained, it was the person who started lower, I think, actually gets the points. But if everyone's making 0 positions, does everyone get those 2 points, or does no one get those 2 points?
The fastest laps of this race to determine the grid for race 3 this afternoon, which we are praying will take place in better conditions. That, incidentally, is at 4 o'clock local time here in the north of Italy. You look at Brad Benavides, who made his debut in the Euroformula Open Championship at Barcelona at the end of 2018, where we race in 28 days, exactly 4 weeks from now, the final round of 2021. It will be a shootout for the title between Louis Foster and Cameron Dass. Philip Kamini in car 88. Still no word from race control yet. Let's hope this does not degenerate into a repeat of the Belgian Formula One Grand Prix. The yellow flag is still waving. There is Cameron Dass, and again another lap behind the safety car. Just quickly getting back to the conditions in Sochi, the south of Russia, the seaside resort town, the city of Russia, the former Olympic host venue. Dennis taking the title. Huge congratulations to Dennis and the Prema Power team, and also best of luck to Jack Crawford, Rafa Villagomez, Zdenek Chovanec, and Roman Stanek. We expect to see them back for the final round, along with a few more drivers in 1 month from now, the 24th of October. An unfortunate late date change for the FIA F3 Championship. They were to have raced at Austin, Texas, USA, the hometown of Jack. They raced in Russia instead overnight in very similar conditions. We feared that we would get a repeat, and 24 hours later, as Brad goes through in car 71, well, the heavens have opened here at Monza. We'll see Jack, Zdenek, Rafa, and hopefully Roman back for the final round of the championship after racing in the FIA Formula 3 Championship at Sochi this weekend. Richard De Geras, car 10, out of grid 11. The yellow flag still waving. This is the 4th lap under safety car conditions. Still no word from race control. The conditions are not going to improve anytime soon. The rain, it's eased up marginally. I'm trying to be optimistic, but you can see still atrocious conditions at the circuit, which 2 weeks ago hosted the Italian Formula One Grand Prix. Casper Stevenson, incidentally, in the try yesterday, listen to this, the Van Amersfoort Racing Team drivers, Casper Stevenson and Cembolo Pasci, they were quickest in a straight line through the speed trap. How quick? Casper Stevenson, 273 kilometres an hour down the straight. Cembolo Pasci, his teammate, 270 k's an hour. To be precise, Casper, 272.7. We'll round that up to 273. That is not far off the 300k an hour mark for our friends in the United States of America and the United Kingdom. I'm not sure what that equates to in miles an hour. It's just damn quick. 273 k's an hour in the dry. They won't go anywhere near that today. But that's still an impressive statistic.
162 miles an hour potentially, because obviously 100 equals 62 from kilometres to miles, or the other way around. and then calculate that. So it's 120 plus 30, so 150. Then I expect 162 or 163. That's mental arithmetic. Probably wrong. I usually get it wrong in the commentary box.
170 miles an hour. No, my mathematics is not that good. I've Googled that quickly. Look, it is frighteningly quick in these F3 cars.
Still running behind the safety car, but with the clock ticking down, 22 minutes to go, but 13 laps, I think we will have enough time to, bring the green flags, at least have half a race.
At least try. It's not our decision, of course. We have got no word from race control. We don't need to check the weather app. You can see it's atrocious here at Monza. Disappointingly so for the moment. Let's hope we go green imminently. This is the 5th final race of 2021. As we mentioned in the top of our broadcast, 2022, the calendar has been announced for the all-new season. We race the first day of May in the south of Portugal at the Algarve circuit, and go to Paul Ricard on the 22nd of May, Spa-Francorchamps on the 19th of June, Budapest in Hungary in the east of Europe on the 10th of July. A week later at Mugello, the 11th of September. At Spielberg in Austria, Monza, September 25, and Barcelona on October the 16th, where we also race the final in 4 weeks from now. We're getting word, finally. You can see confirmation at the top of your screen. The safety car will pull into pit lane at the end of this lap. Casper Stevenson, how nervous would the rookie championship leader be leading the field around in virtually undrivable conditions here at Monza? Philippe Kamini, what can the pole do? He was impressive yesterday, showed some real gumption, some fortitude, some fighting spirit, which was fantastic to see. And the 88 car starts on grid 2, the safety car to pull in this lap. They've had 6 laps to get a feel for the conditions, which are not improving. So Stevenson, Kaminiaz, Nutty Matsman out of 18. Chembolak Pashi and Christian Mansell is alongside the championship leader, Cameron Dass, down through the Ascari chicane for the 6th time. They're lapping in 3 minutes at the moment, obviously behind the safety car. We'll see what they can do in the wet. We just told you the speeds yesterday, incredibly quick for these F3 Dallara EF320 cars. The safety car lights are off. It will pull into pit lane. You ride on board with Richard De Geris. The field form up on the back straight as they head down into the Michele Alboreto Parabolica. Right in the middle of your screen, car 25 from London in the Queen's England, Casper Stevenson, the rookie championship leader, leads the field around. He gently accelerates. There's Kaminiaz in car 88. Natsim Atzman, the Red Bull Race 2 race winner. Out of 3, the safety car pulls into pit lane in atrocious conditions here this morning at the Temple of Speed. The green flag flies and we race. Stevenson, a nice start, a restart if we can call it that. Kaminiaz in second as Natsi Matsman and Chembolak Bashi go nervously wheel to wheel down into the first chicane. Let's see how many unfortunately use the WRX style Joker lap and go straight ahead through the chicane. Nicely negotiated by Casper Stevenson. Mansell behind Atzman. And Simonazi going through Team DriveX. Very, very sideways from the lone Texan, Enzo Shanti. But they've all done superbly well to make it through the first chicane without incident. You ride on board with Richard De Geris, the Frenchman, on the back of the 2 DriveX team pilots. As Casper Stevenson, this is a nice start from the rookie championship leader. The Londoner flying the flag for Van Amersfoort Racing. His VAR teammate, Chembolak Pashi, is behind the pole. Philippe Kaminiaz in the background. Christian Mansell looking for visibility as Natsim Atzman, the Malaysian, goes through the first of the 2 Lesmo corners at the far part of the circuit. Natsim Atzman. There's Christian Mansell. There's Cameron Dass. Nicholas Pino, Francesco Simonazi. It looks as though Louis Foster's already made a great start from the back of the grid. There's Simonazi in car 84. They go down under the old banking into the Ascari chicane for the first time. Great opening lap so far from Casper Stevenson into the Ascari curves and onto the back straight. Kamini holding his own, looking for his first podium in the Euroformula Open Championship.
And it looks like the two Drivex cars further back had already swapped positions earlier in the lap, have done so again. Rashad De Jerus getting a little bit loose there through the chicane. So Pino in 9th, Sionti in 10th, Rashad De Jerus following them in 11th. Philippe Kamini looked a little bit late there going into Calle Alboreto Parabolica, and we've actually had 2 laps added to the race time. Casper Stevenson is going to end this lap, the first lap of green flag racing. I imagine he will take fastest lap because currently Louis Foster has that down in 14th place. So Stevenson 2 minutes 6, 7 tenths ahead of Kamini. Then you got another 1.4 seconds back to Bollock Bassi, and Christian Mansell in 5th place is about to lose it to Cameron Dass, our championship leader. Goes right around the left-hand side of him and getting a little bit close further forward. That's Kamini chasing Stevenson. Chen Bollock Bassi on his tail. We're going to see the next 2 cars come into picture. That is Asman Das did get through and he's all over the rear already. Simonazi holding off from the Drivex cars, and he's just behind Brad Benavides in 7th place.
Nice racing by Cameron Dass and Christian Mansell. They went 1-2 yesterday, and that was superb skill displayed here in deteriorating conditions here at Monza. Cameron Dass just makes his way up through, just needs the points. Louis Foster has dropped back to 14th, though. This is not what the English driver needs if he is to have any hope of taking out the 2021 championship. Casper Stevenson, this is a superb start for car 25 for Van Amersfoort Racing. He started the season racing in the United Arab Emirates in the Asian Formula 3 Championship in very different warm conditions. It was winter time over in the Middle East, but it was about 30 degrees plus Celsius. But Casper Stevenson, as much visibility for the Londoner as a London fog as we look at his countryman Louis Foster, who initially made a good start, but you can see car 27 with damage to the front right suspension. This will be 2 DNFs in 2 races in 12 hours for the driver who is second in the championship. It's all going wrong for Louis Foster.
Yeah, and actually there was an incident he was involved in that's already under investigation. He dropped 27 points to Cameron Dass yesterday. He's on course to drop another 10 here as Kamini goes very late into that final corner again, or second corner even. So it's a pretty tricky day for Louis Foster. Obviously we have 4 more races after this. That's at least 100 points up for grabs. So he is still in title contention, but it's not doing him any favours right now. Philippe Kamini sets fastest lap. Chen Bollock Bassi takes it off him at 2 minute 4.8. We've got 2 seconds covering our top 3. You can actually see Kamini all over the rear of Stevenson, but Bollock Bassi's invisible. That's how much spray there is at Monza right now, and you can see the huge puddles at that first corner. That is very tricky to navigate for these drivers. Rashad De Jerus is right on the rear of Nico Pino now in 10th place, so Sionti's got back past in the battle for 9th place between the 2 Drivex drivers. Christian Mansell going full on a rally style, letting the rear end slip out, exiting turn 2. He's in 6th place. He's lost ground to Cameron Dass, but is still comfortably ahead of Brad Benavides at the moment.
Christian Mansell sideways on the exit off the first chicane in position 6. They go down through the second chicane now. This is Chen Bollock Bassi, who is still in position 3 as we look at his teammate Casper Stevenson, who is doing a superb job in position 1. We will have to keep an eye on the lap times at the moment. Bollock Bassi, a 2:04.287. Some 20-25 seconds off their dry weather time, but importantly, the fastest times from race 2 here this morning, regardless of the conditions, do set the grid for this afternoon's race 3 at the moment. Chen Bollock Bassi, purple, 2:04.287. So it is Casper Stevenson, position 1. Philippe Kamini driving superbly is the pole in position 2. Holding off the Turk, Bollock Bassi, then it's Nazi Martzman, Cameron Dass, Christian Mansell, Brad Benavides started out of 7. And the driver from Florida, USA, that's where he runs at the moment, ahead of Francesco Simonazi, Enzo Sionti, Nicholas Pino for Team Drivex in 9 and 10. Rashad De Jerus has just made his way by the Chilean, though. Josh Mason and Enzo truly not having a good run here this morning. He's in position 13 as Kamini locks up into the Alboreto Parabolica. Super skill from the pole to hold on to that. 88 sideways under brakes. That was magnificent driving from Philippe Kamini. Casper Stevenson with the race lead, and now the fastest lap at 2:03.473. He's got 0.8 of a second. Philippe Kamini, he's actually, despite that moment, which he held superbly, he's catching the race leader. Looking at his first podium is the pole, potentially Could he have his first victory here this morning? Sideways on the exit off the chicane from Philip Kamini as Cembolic Bashi has got the bit between his teeth. It's a Van Amersfoort Racing 1-3 with the pole in second place, driving the wheels off car 88 through the big chicane, Curva Grande, as it literally translates and down into the second chicane. Casper Stevenson searching for grip. Look how greasy, slippery and slick it is. In the background into the Alboreto Parabolica, down the inside, that's Simonazi on the outside of Enzo Scianti. The Italian takes the Texan, and Francesco Simonazi now up into position 8. Richard De Geris, he's on the charge, as again, this is superb to watch. Kamini has on the charge. He's throwing car 88 around like a cart. He's got magnificent grip in the wet conditions. This is Scianti trying to retake the place, launching. Wow, that's a big moment for Enzo. Let's hope the car is okay. Unlikely to be perfectly honest, as Brad Benavides slips by at the bottom of your screen. So Casper Stevenson, he's been caught. Philippe Kaminiaz looking for his first podium, potentially his first win in the rain here at Monza.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult to overtake though, because you can see how much standing water there is at most of the corners. Parabolica probably being the exception here with, you know, the spray as well. We can't see where he's going. Louis Foster's now at the pit, so he's back in this race. Kaminiaz lining up Casper Stevenson now. Foster is teammate with Kaminiaz. Potentially, they've sent him out back onto the track, and he could act as a bit of a traffic for Stevenson up front. So Casper's going to cross the line. He doesn't improve. Well, he does improve his lap time, but it isn't him who takes the fastest lap. It's Bolek Bassi behind. He's only 1.4 seconds back in third place now, and we can see Kaminiaz wants to take that wider line into turn 1, but we'll see the big puddles as they go into the first corner. They splash through them now. That makes it incredibly hard to find grip. It means you don't want to be turning tighter. You want the steering to be as open as possible.
This is a superb battle despite the rain here this morning. We may well get a glimpse of Louis Foster, who is already 3 laps down coming into picture. He has rejoined. They have quickly repaired the suspension on car 27. That is nice work from the Crypto Racing Tower team, who took the title in 2020 with Yifei as Cembolic Bashi gets very close to the back of Philip Kaminiaz. So Casper Stevenson holds the lead. It was 1.5 seconds, almost 2 at the restart, and now it's down to 9/10. Philip Kaminiaz just a few moments ago, 0.5 of a second, depending on which part of the circuit we measure the gap. You can see on your screen. Van Amersfoort Racing 1-3. Kaminiaz in superb form here this morning, looking to take the lead for the first time in Euroformula Open. Casper Stevenson, already a race winner in 2021. That was in Hungary, in Budapest. He's in position 1 under the old banking. Believe it or not, there's 3 cars in that group as they emerge out of the spray. Casper Stevenson, position 1. Philip Kaminiaz in second place. And Cembolic Bashi wants to take both the pole and his teammate for another victory. They race down the back straight, undrivable. Almost the conditions, the visibility, you can see there are 3 cars on your screen, believe it or not. They emerge down into the Michele Alboreto Parabolica. They turn in. Kaminiaz, he's found a line that works here this morning. Cembolic Bashi, who also started the season racing in the Asian Formula 3 Championship over in the United Arab Emirates. As we mentioned, the same for Casper, very different conditions. The driver from Istanbul in Turkey looking for his second victory. First, he has to get by Philip Kaminiaz, who is in superb form here this morning. Down into the first chicane. Stevenson to the middle of the circuit. Bolek Bashi down the inside, and the Turk has gone through into position 2. Van Amersfoort Racing run first and second here at Monza. Kaminiaz, who was looking at the back of Casper Stevenson, now has to follow Cembolic Bashi, who was on the podium yesterday in third place. Now he's in second. There is only his teammate, and a torrential downpour here at Monza between himself and another victory in the 2021 Euroformula Open Championship. Kaminiaz now in the background. Can he stay with Cembolic Bashi? Take a look at this, down into the first chicane. Kaminiaz with the traditional line looking for the run. And Cembolic Bashi simply says thank you, drives down the inside, takes the place. Nicely done. Car 74 up into second place. It's the Dutch team, Van Amersfoort Racing, who run 1-2 here in the rain at Monza.
Yeah, he left the door entirely open there. There was really no defending whatsoever, so he's conceded that place, but we know he's very strong at the end of the lap, so he could reclaim it. Christian Mansell's just set the fastest lap in 6th place. He's still 2 seconds behind Cameron Dasser, who's really stuck behind Nazim Asman in 4th. He's essentially running at the pace of Asman, who has dropped 6 seconds to our lead trio, an incredible gap. The 2 Van Amersfoort cars and Kamini's have opened up at the moment. And Enzo Scionti has got back past Simonazi for 8th place, so he's a further 8 seconds back. He's chasing Brad Benavides for 7th at the moment. We've still got all 14 cars in this race. Louis Foster 3 laps down, but he's set to lap at a pretty competitive pace. He doesn't have the benefit of the slipstream, but he's got clear air and better visibility than anyone else, essentially. So he should be able to get that extra point, which will then, of course, contribute potentially to the race for grid. I'm not sure if they'll actually use the race 1 times, because normally it's basically whichever's faster, but given the weather conditions today, I'd expect it would be the race 1 lap times as they're more representative. Casper Stevenson coming into turn 1, goes through the huge puddle at that first corner. That's really tricky to get the car turned around. Kamini's hasn't lost too much ground. In fact, he's only 9/10 behind Bolek Bassi in 2nd place. Nazim Asman still 6.8 seconds behind. Christian Mansell again sets the fastest lap at 2:01. That's a second faster than he was last time by, so the track is actually drying up pretty quickly. Still very, very wet, but they're displacing enough water now that they can actually find grip better in more places.
Also, the drivers can find a rhythm. Yes, Christian Mansell at the moment the fastest driver on the circuit, but Cembolo Bashi is cutting the gap to his teammate. It's 0.6 of a second. Philip Kamini, he's actually dropping off this battle for the lead. He's in danger of being caught by the Malaysian Nazim Asman for the final step of the podium. We have, with the rain and the first 6 laps run under the safety car, now got a timed race. You can see the top left of your screen confirming we've got just under 6 minutes remaining. Nazim Asman going through, Cameron Das, Christian Mansell. So Mansell with the fastest lap here at Monza at 2:01.537. They race down through Seraglio. The leaders are going through the Ascari chicane now. Philip Kamini, let's hope for the pole's sake he can bring it home on the podium. That would be a fabulous result. A couple of years running in Formula 4 in the United Arab Emirates, the Spanish F4 Championship as well. It's been a difficult year, if we're honest, for the pole. Had a test in a regional car last year. That was, I'll be honest, it was disastrous. Philip Kamini, he's looking at a podium here this afternoon, going through at the bottom of your screen. We wait for Nazim Asman. There's the Malaysian, who's got the championship leader right behind him. There is Cameron Das, a race winner yesterday in the dry. They've found the rhythm. Well, the Belgian Formula 1 Grand Prix was held in atrocious conditions. They did, 3-4 laps behind the safety car. These Euroformula Open drivers, which yesterday were touching 270 kilometres an hour down the straight, are handling the conditions superbly. Safety car incident, red flag, no chance. We have had no car go off yet. This is a credit to these young Formula 3 drivers, as now the Van Amersfoort Racing teammates get very close. Cembolo Bashi is tucked in behind the spray, under the wing. He still gets the slipstream. It still works in the rain. Side by side, wheel to wheel go the VAR teammates. Cembolo Bashi in 74, Casper in 25. Has to get out of it, and Casper incredibly still holds the lead from his teammates. Sideways in the background goes the pole, Philip Kamini, and this gives him hope to drag himself back into the battle for the lead, potentially if the VAR cars, heaven forbids, come together through the Lesmo curves. Bolek Bashi for a few centimetres, the Turk was in the lead. Casper, who has driven superbly since the safety car pulled into pit lane, has held the lead, although it's getting close now with his teammate right behind, down into the Ascari chicane. On the clock, 3 minutes 30 left to race.
Yeah, Bolek Bassi did get slightly ahead on the inside of Curva Grande, and he's a driver who, as we've seen on a few occasions at the Red Bull Ring, and here's a replay, yeah, Stevenson basically just kept himself ahead by being as late as possible on the brakes, nerfing his teammate, I think they were looking at each other probably side by side, seeing who would brake later. Here's a replay of Benavides holding off Enzo Scionti for 7th place, although both have skipped the corner entirely. Scionti does take the route we should have. Benavides does not, so the stewards may look at that. The 2 VAR cars are going to cross the line. Are we going to see the first sub 2-minute lap of this race. Stevenson crosses the line. It's a 2-minute 1.296 and a 2-minute 1.2 for Bollock Bassi, so potentially they're battling, costs them a little bit of time there. 2.5 minutes on the clock, so we should have 2 more laps of racing here. Bollock Bassi looking into the first corner. There's really not much room with that puddle. Now, Bollock Bassi, as I was saying, at Imola, at Red Bull Ring, he threw the rear end into the gravel and somehow kept it going. It's his very kind of simulator style, we can call it, if anything. But he should be comfortable going into the less grippy parts of this track and trying to maybe take the outside line around his teammate Casper Stevenson. But equally, Stevenson's got the best visibility. He's the first one going into the corners. He knows where the grip is better than anyone else. As Bollock Bassi gets close, we saw Simonazi and Reshad Tajerus change positions at the back of the order as well. And there's a little bit of lag there for Casper Stevenson going out the corner. I think Bollock Bassi's got him eyed up, but there's not really many places to pass. He's going to look down the inside of Lesmo. Doesn't do it.
We saw the 2 American drivers take to the grass. The final round of the 2021 World Rally Championship will be held here at Monza. The Americans getting in some early practice, and with that, they've both had their lap times deleted. But that matters little at the moment because Brad is still ahead of Enzo, 7th and 8th as we watch the battle for the lead. That was Louis Foster going through at the bottom of your screen. They go down into the Ascari chicane. Bollock Bassi wants the victory here this morning. Casper Stevenson has driven superbly. They exit, he's still drifting on the exit. Philip Kamini still in position 3, looking at a maiden podium. The clock is ticking down. As Casper Stevenson, he will get one more lap in at least. He'll cross the line into the Parabolica. Superb skill being displayed by these drivers. Venomous Fort Racing. They're without Rafa Villagomez, who's racing in the final round of the FIA Formula 3 Championship at Sochi in the south of Russia. We'll see Rafa back on track at Barcelona for the season final. Just a 2-car attack for VAR here at Monza, but they run 1-2. Philip Kamini, car 88 flying the flag for Crypto Tower Racing Team, who took the championship with the Chinese driver Yi Fei Ye 12 months ago. Philip Kamini in position 3, looking at a maiden podium. He's driven superbly. He is being caught ever so slightly by Nazi Matzman, who's ahead of Cameron Dass, Mansell, the 2 Americans, Brad Benavides, Enzo Sconti from the back of the grid, Reshad Tajerus, up in the P9, Francesco Simonazi. Great job in his 2nd ever Euroformula Open race. So this is now the final lap. It's a timed lap with the conditions here. Casper Stevenson looking to take his 2nd victory of 2021. Bollock Bassi looking to do likewise into the Lesmo Curve 1. The Lesmo Curves 2, and Casper goes slightly defensive. There's Philip Kamini in the background. Still has not given up hope. If these 2 drivers come together, they go through Saraglio, down onto the old Indianapolis banking, the Pista Sopra Elevata. There's Foster. Down through the chicane, he will finish in dead last and pick up 0 from the race here this morning and lose more valuable points to Cameron Dass, who's going to extend his championship lead in position 5 as Bollock Bassi drifts sideways on the exit of the Ascari chicane. Casper Stevenson from pole position has driven superbly in atrocious conditions here at Monza into the Alboreto Parabolica for the final time. A 2-car attack from Van Amersfoort Racing here at the home of the Italian Grand Prix. It is the Londoner Casper Stevenson who will take the checkered flag and take his 2nd victory in Euroformula Open, the 2021 championship. The Dutch team finish 1-2 here at the home of the Italian Grand Prix. On the podium for the first time, Philippe Kamini super drive from the pole to finish in position 3. And as you can see with that, Casper Stevenson has won the Rookie Championship in Euroformula Open for 2021. Super good for the team van the Netherlands. Casper Stevenson from London, Bollock Bassi from Istanbul. They finished 1-2. The team of Fritz van Amersfoort, from outside of Amsterdam in the Netherlands. They finish 1-2. We had no interruptions once we went green. Superb skill from the 14 drivers. Just a brilliant display of talent here this morning, despite almost undrivable conditions. They were still doing, in the rain, on the Michelin wets, over 240 kilometres an hour. Van Amersfoort Racing 1-2. We have to give enormous credit. Huge congratulations to Philip Kamini. On the podium for the first time is the Poling Car 88 for Crypto Tower Racing. There is the race winner, Casper Stevenson. Started the year, as we say, in the Asian F3 Championship. Last year he was in the British F4 Series. Also with a few podiums, racing in a saloon car, a touring car, a GT car. That was in the British Championship 2 seasons ago. He pulls into pit lane to take his second victory of 2021. Casper Stevenson in the Blackwood 25 VAR car with the victory. And with that, he's also claimed the 2021 Rookie Championship. Cem Bolek-Bashi, another podium for the Turk as VAR come 1-2. And on the podium for the first time in the Euroformula Open Championship from Poland. Huge congratulations to Filip Kaminias. Atzman 4, Das 5 extends his lead in the championship. Christian Mansell, who set fastest lap after fastest lap, was 6th ahead of the two Americans, Brad Benavides, Enzo Scianti, Ricardo, Simonazi 10, and it was Nicholas Pino, Josh Mason, Enzo Trulli, and Louis Foster. Enzo Trulli, incidentally, with the fastest lap of the race. So there is the championship standings. 3:09 to Cameron. It's starting to get out of reach for Louis Foster, whose countryman, whose fellow English driver has taken a fantastic win here at the Temple of Speed. Casper Stevenson, position 1, and deserved that. That was a brilliant, skillful display. Congratulated by Daniela and the team from VAR. Down to 2 cars just for this round. They have delivered 1-2 here at Monza as the rain continues to fall. Cem Bolek-Bashi threw absolutely everything at his teammate for a brief few metres. He was through into the lead, into the second chicane. They raced wheel to wheel, so close, centimetres apart, did not touch. And the teammates, first and second, there is car 88 in the background. Oh, Philip Kaminias, there's Casper. Super well deserved.
I thought you were going to do him.
Third place on the podium for the first time for the Crypto Tower Racing team from Poland in Eastern Europe, Philip Kaminias. Cem Bolek-Bashi threw absolutely everything at his teammate, raced superbly in the rain here at Monza, and takes his 6th podium of 2021. It's the second victory for the English driver. He thoroughly deserved it. Casper Stevenson wins race 2 in the penultimate round of the championship at Monza. Let's go down and hear from the race winner now. Casper has got lost down in Parc Ferme. We'll try and catch up with him. We will catch up with him in just a moment. Here is the race winner, Casper Stevenson, down in pit lane now.
Casper Stevenson, second win of the season here at Monza under heavy rain. You must be very happy.
Yeah, really happy. It was a tricky start, but I got quicker as I went along. I came under a bit of pressure towards the end, but yeah, I'm really happy. It was a great race, and yeah, it's just an awesome result considering we've had a few tricky races so far.
The conditions, of course, quite difficult, but nothing unusual for a brief.
Yeah, that's the thing. I wanted it to rain because I'm used to the rain, so yeah, it was good. And at the start, it was quite tricky, but then it dried up towards the end. And yeah, just a mega race.
Well done. Thank you very much. Podium now.
We got underway behind the safety car here today in atrocious conditions. 6 laps behind the safety car gave the drivers a chance to get a feel for the conditions. Casper Stevenson from pole position led the field down into turn 1. Reshad Dejeris could see 0. Cembolak Bashi making his way up through the pack. Firstly, going by the pole, Philip Kamini, who had a moment into the Alboreto Parabolica. Superb skill from the pole to hold on to car 88. Left the door open and Cembolak Bashi needed no second invitation. Simply dived down the inside. Van Amersfoort Racing were 1-2. And the VAR cars went within centimetres. They raced so close as Cem tried to take his second victory of 2021 into the chicane. How skillful was this between Casper and Cem? The Londoner drove superbly. He held his nerve. He's claimed the Rookie Championship and his second outright victory. 2021 Euroformula Open Championship.
A questo primo podio della giornata, il podio di gara 2 dell'Euroformula Open. Terzo gradino del podio per Philippe Kamini.
That's you, Philip. Takes a well-deserved drink and makes his way over the gantry at this world-famous podium where Daniel stood on the top step just 2 weeks ago. Philip Kamini in third place, his maiden podium in the Euroformula Open Championship here at the Temple of Speed. Well-deserved drive. He found a rhythm that worked here in the rain. Position 3 for Philippe Kamini on the podium for the first time. And after that performance, it won't be the last. Cembolak Bashi, his 6th podium of 2021 and his 2nd victory. And with that, the Rookie Championship to the Englishman, Casper Stevenson. Van Amersfoort Racing run 1-2 here at Monza. God Save the Queen rings out here at Monza. Van Amersfoort Racing run 1-2. Casper Stevenson with his 2nd outright victory and claims the 2021 Rookie Championship in the Euroformula Open title chase. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us, I should say. It has been a fabulous display from these Formula 3 drivers. We will be back one more time here at Monza. 4 o'clock local time, race 3 this afternoon. Thank you for watching. We'll see you then.